This is the Impulsive Thinker Podcast, a show for high-achieving ADHD entrepreneurs. Together, we will inform and educate you about how to improve your self-awareness while developing systems, routines, and habits for conquering the entrepreneurial world. Here is your host, Andre Brisson.
Hey there, it's Andre, the Impulsive Thinker. This week's short, I want to talk about this discussion I had with Dr. Russ Ramsey about anxiety and ADHD. And there's a few things I wanted to elaborate on myself. And there's three things that really stuck out to me with this discussion with him. One, anxiety is there to protect you. And that's always been there to protect you from danger. So that's from the amygdala part of your brain, your fight, flight, fawn, or freeze part. So if your anxiety is heightened or overused, then it can become a problem if you're reacting to danger that's not existing. And like he said, anxiety is a disorder of quote unquote, what if thinking of the future, perceptions of risk that probably will not likely happen. That's anxiety. So you're always thinking about the future, worried about stuff that may or may never happen, and it's affecting your day-to-day life and your day-to-day functioning. Okay. And number two was, or I guess that's number three. I apologize. My notes here are kind of all over. But anyways, anxiety is an intolerance of uncertainty. I thought that was a great simplified phrase to describe anxiety, especially the clinical anxiety. It's an intolerance of uncertainty. So it's not necessarily that it's what if thinking. The what if thinking of the future, I think, is normal, and we should be doing that. But if it's creating an intolerance to uncertainty and that you can't function, that's really profound. I thought that was really profound and a lot more clarity in the simplified phraseology of that. So what? The flip side to anxiety with ADHD, this is what I got. Like he said, ADHD is an uncertainty generator. This causes anxiety. Why does that? Well, like he said, the ADHD brain are consistently inconsistent. Now, I think there's two sides to this. Yes, a lot of times our brains are inconsistent consistently, and we don't know how, distractibility and all that, but that's the ADHD brain side. There's some of that is valid. But I think the flip side that causes the more anxiety, I'm not a professional. This is just my observation and my understanding of the information I've been researching that is yet to be confirmed by any professionals, but this is one of my thinking. A lot of times, our inconsistency as an ADHD person is usually because it's measured by someone else. We're not doing things consistently. We're not staying on track. We're not focusing on what is important to other people. So when we're consistently told that we're consistently inconsistent, we're not doing what's asked, that will cause a lot of anxiety, because what is going to happen later if I don't get all my work done, if I don't get this project done, if I don't get home on time and do the dinner, if I don't go to the grocery store and remember everything I'm supposed to get? That creates anxiety, right? And it's failing to live up to other people's expectations because we quote unquote forget, quote unquote are late, quote unquote don't get things done, etc. Of course, anxiety is a coexisting condition with ADHD, and I think it has a lot to do more with our environment than our internal brain structure. I do think anxiety. So since our brain is inconsistently consistent, or is consistently inconsistent, I think it's more of it creates an anxiousness rather than anxiety. And I've always looked at myself, I've always been told I'm an anxious person. I think it has a little bit to do with my physical hyperactivity and my impulsivity. But I think at the same time, it has a lot to do with this ADHD being an uncertainty generator. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I don't know what the next hour is going to bring if I don't manage myself to be predictable and consistent. So if I just allow my ADHD to go rampant, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what the outcomes are going to be. And I'm always thinking, we're always thinking what other people are going to think and judge us on. So I think a lot of ADHD people, we are just anxious in nature. And I believe for others, it's not full-blown anxiety. It just makes them anxious, while many people with anxiety is a concern and it is a challenge. So I'm not dismissing anxiety condition here. I'm just saying I think a lot of us are more anxious. And If it goes too far, I do believe we can get clinical anxiety on that. So just to differentiate the two, I went to the dictionary because that's what I do, okay? And there's a subtle difference between anxiety and anxious, okay? So anxiety is actually a feeling of worry or a desire to do something, while anxious is experiencing worry and wanting to do something. So one is more kind of sort of there, and the other one is definitely there, like the feeling versus the experiencing and the desire to wanting. And for me, now that I understand why I'm anxious because of this uncertainty generator of inconsistency, it kind of gives me justification or validation that nothing's wrong. That's just the way I am, and that's just the way it's going to be. And I'm always going to be anxious, especially when especially as high achievers, we want to do a lot. We want to get a lot done quickly, and that creates some sort of anxiousness. And it's hard for me to talk about clinical anxiety because I never experienced it. I'm watching that with my youngest daughter, and it's quite painful I feel for her. I can only empathize. I can't sympathize because I don't know what she's going through. Always worried, knowing that she's not doing things because she's afraid something may happen and she cognitively understands the probability of it happening is never going to happen, but it's still a great concern that she will not experience life to do it. And so I don't have true experience. It's just observational, but the anxious part I do. And if you're having debilitating anxiety that's preventing your day-to-day functioning, please go get help. Talk to a professional. There's nothing wrong with getting professional help for mental health situations. Your brain takes care of you and is there to protect you. So it's there to protect you, but sometimes when it goes in overdrive, it's debilitating your day-to-day, and that's when we got to take care of it. So if your brain is not functioning properly to oversee your whole body system because of your mental health conditions, you can get physical ailments. So that's why I tell people mental health first, physical health second. If you take care of your mental health, your brain will now be able to take care of your physical self a lot more efficiently and better. I'm not saying don't get exercise or not, but I would put a priority on your mental health. Reach out to someone who cares and someone who will listen, not tell you what to do or what their opinions are, just to listen and support you and get the professional help to work this out because it can be done. Thanks for listening. Please let me know what you think. Any more thoughts about anxiety and anxiousness, please send me an email at andre@tacticalbts.com. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, rate, and review the show. It helps us get discovered by listeners like you. If you can share it with at least 2 other people, that would be greatly appreciated. I want to gift you the Shit List. It's a weekly planning tool that I developed to plan my week and focus my time. You can find it at our website at tacticalbts.com. That is tacticalbts.com.
Thank you for listening to the Impulsive Thinker podcast. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for the show, please visit theimpulsivethinker.com. The Impulsive Thinker podcast is produced by Tactical Breakthroughs and hosted by Andre Brisson. Remember, ADHD is only a part of you, not all of you.